Welcome to the Playing Books podcast.
So glad to be here for this one.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting episode today. We are opening the covers of a story that feels, at least when you first pick it up, like it might just be a cozy romance.
Right. You definitely get that vibe initially.
You know, the type? Maybe something you'd read with a cup of tea on a rainy afternoon. You expect polite conversation and a happy ending.
Exactly.
But I have to warn you right now, if you scratch the surface of this book, you find a sharp, almost brutal psychological thriller underneath.
Oh, yeah.
We are talking about The Price of Love by Arnold Bennett.
It is an incredibly deceptive book. You are absolutely right about that.
It really is.
It pulls you in with this very specific, very vivid atmosphere of 1914 England, and you feel comfortable.
Almost too comfortable.
Right. But then it traps you there with a moral dilemma that is startlingly relevant to how we navigate relationships today. It asks questions that are honestly a bit uncomfortable to answer, especially for anyone who's ever been in love.
And I think when most people hear the name Arnold Bennett or hear about a book set in the early 20th century, they expect something polite.
Yeah, a bit dusty.
Exactly. Tea services, mild misunderstandings, people not saying what they really mean.
Right.
But this story, it is about money, it is about self-deception, and it is about the lies we tell ourselves just to keep our relationships alive.
It gets dark.
It really does. Now, it is set in the Five Towns, specifically a town called Bursley, in the industrial heart of England.
And for anyone not familiar with Bennett's geography or the history of that area, you have to banish the idea of green rolling hills.
No quaint country cottages here.
No, not at all. You have to imagine a world of grime, smoke, and pottery kilns. This is the industrial powerhouse of the era.
The air is thick with soot.
It coats everything. But contrasted against that noise and dirt, we have the interior of a house that is meticulously clean, quiet, and rigid in its social codes.
It's like a sanctuary.
A sanctuary that is about to be violated.
So our mission today for this podcast is to explore how a specific sum of money acts as a catalyst in this house.
Yes.
It's like throwing a match into a powder keg.
Yes.
It strips away the masks of everyone involved.
Completely.
And ultimately, we want to figure out what the quote-unquote price is that the protagonist, Rachel, has to pay for her relationship. Because looking at this book, this isn't a fairy tale.
Far from it. It's a unique blend of suspense and domestic realism. It is not a whodunit in the traditional sense, because the mystery is less about who committed the crime. We actually find that out relatively early on.
Right, which is a great structural choice.
It is. It becomes more about how the characters live with the knowledge of it. It's about the psychology of the aftermath.
It's going to be a suspenseful ride through a story that feels surprisingly modern in its psychology.
Oh, very modern.
So let's unpack this. We start with the atmosphere and the players. We were in the house of Mrs. Malden. Paint the picture for us. Who is she, and what does she represent in this world?
So, Mrs. Malden is the anchor of the old world. She is elderly, dignified, and wealthy. But her wealth is quiet. It's not flashy. She represents the old ways in a town that is rapidly modernizing.
Right.
For instance, she refuses to have electricity installed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she sticks to gaslighting. And she has this fascinating quirk. She uses wax tapers to light the gas instead of matches.
Why tapers? That seems like such a specific detail for Bennett to include.
It's specifically to save money. Matches cost money, and once you strike them, they are gone. Tapers can be reused. You light a taper from the fire, then light the gas. It's a tiny economy, but it speaks volumes about her character.
Which is ironic considering the book implies she is sitting on a massive fortune.
Precisely. It establishes her character immediately. She is not miserly in a cruel Scrooge-like sense, but she is rigidly economical by habit.
It's a discipline.
It's about control. Her house is described as a sanctuary, incredibly clean, quiet, and orderly.
Rachel, the protagonist, even notes that the cleanliness is almost aggressive.
Yes. It is a fortress against the industrial grime outside, the white aprons, the dusted surfaces. It's a moral stance as much as a hygienic one.
It's the idea that if we keep the house clean, we keep the chaos of the world at bay.
Exactly. And into this quiet, gaslit fortress comes the chaos. the catalyst, and his name is Counselor Thomas Batchgrew.
Oh, Batchgrew. He is a piece of work.
He is a fantastic character. If Mrs. Malden is the quiet dignity of the past, Batchgrew is the loud, brash, ugly face of the present.
He really is.
He is her trustee, but he is the antithesis of everything she stands for. He has these flying white whiskers, a booming voice, coarse manners.
Just obnoxious.
Very. He is constantly sniffing and making noise. He takes up space.
I get the sense that Bennett wants us to be repulsed by him. He feels invasive.
Oh, absolutely. He's the personification of unbridled capitalism and industry without the manners.
And he brings the money.
He arrives with a massive sum of money. £965 in banknotes.
Okay, we need to contextualize that number for the listeners. £965 in 1914. To you or me today, that might sound like a nice weekend getaway. But back then...
It is a staggering amount. We're talking about the equivalent of tens of thousands of pounds today. Possibly more, depending on how you calculate inflation and purchasing power.
Wow.
It represents years of salary for a working person. It's life-changing money. It's a house. It's a future.
And because of a mix-up with the bank and his own schedule, he insists on leaving this cash with Mrs. Malden for the night. Why on earth would he do that?
Pure convenience and carelessness. There is a lot of suspense built right here.
Right.
The town is currently plagued by a fear of burglars. There have been break-ins nearby. Mrs. Malden is terrified.
Naturally.
She is anxious about the security of her house. She knows she's an old woman alone with a young companion. But Batchgrew, he practically bullies her into keeping it.
Just forces it on her.
Yeah, telling her to just lock it in a drawer. He dismisses her fears completely.
It's that arrogance of power. It'll be fine because I say it's fine.
Exactly. He dumps the responsibility on her because he can't be bothered to deal with it until the morning.
So the bomb has been planted. The money is in the house.
Tick-tock.
Now let's look at the people who are about to be caught in the explosion. We have Rachel Fleckring. Who is she in this ecosystem?
Rachel is the lady companion. It's a role we don't really have anymore, but it was crucial for a woman of Mrs. Malden's status.
Right.
Rachel is young, vital, capable, and honest. But she occupies this interesting middle ground.
Socially speaking.
Yes. She wears a pinafore apron that covers her dress. The text makes a point of saying this apron transforms her from a lady into a worker.
That's an interesting visual. The apron as a uniform of service, but underneath, she's a person with her own desires.
Right. She has a strong sense of duty, but she is young and inexperienced in the ways of the world. She is impulsive.
She's the life of the house, really.
She's the energy. While Mrs. Malden is fading, Rachel is burning bright.
And then we have the nephews, the potential heirs. First, let's talk about Louis Forres.
Louis is fascinating because he is the archetype of the charming failure.
I think we all know a Louis.
We absolutely do. He is Mrs. Malden's great-nephew. He is elegant, socially adept. He knows how to dress. He knows how to talk to women.
He knows which fork to use.
Exactly. But beneath that polish, he is hollow. He is unreliable. He has a history of quote-unquote errors with money.
Errors?
He used to work in a bank, and there was some unpleasantness that caused him to leave.
Unpleasantness is such a polite British euphemism for he probably embezzled funds and they hushed it up to avoid a scandal.
Exactly. But he has never really faced consequences. He's always charmed his way out of it.
He's the Teflon man.
He is. He's the kind of guy who believes his own press. He thinks he's a victim of circumstance rather than his own choices. He believes the world owes him a living because he's so pleasant to be around.
And then there's the other nephew, Julian Malden. The contrast is pretty stark.
The complete opposite. Julian is rough, rude, and an avowed socialist.
Right.
He is obsessed with health fads and taking cold baths. He is socially awkward, almost aggressively so.
But people trust him more.
Yes. Because he is so blunt, because he lacks that polished charm, he is perceived as the honest one compared to the slippery Louis.
It's that assumption we make, isn't it? If someone is rude, we assume they must be honest, because a liar would try to flatter you.
Exactly. We mistake bluntness for integrity. Bennett plays with that perception throughout the book.
So the stage is set. You have the fragile old lady, the naive but strong girl, the charming spendthrift, and the rude socialist.
And nearly £1,000 sitting in a house that everyone is afraid will be burgled.
It feels like a setup for a disaster.
And that brings us to the night of the theft. This is where the psychology gets really interesting.
Okay, walk me through it.
Louis comes over for supper. Julian is there too, but leaves. Louis stays behind. And then he finds the money.
It's not locked away safe, is it?
No. Mrs. Malden, in her anxiety, had hidden the roll of notes, but she dropped them. It's a tragic accident of old age.
Oh.
Louis finds this roll of banknotes just lying on the landing floor.
Talk about temptation.
Ugh.
But what is his thought process here? Does he just grab it and run?
No, and that's the brilliance of Bennett's writing. If he just grabbed it and ran, he would be a cartoon villain. But he's not a villain in his own mind.
Right, nobody is the villain in their own story.
Exactly. It's a moment of rationalization. He picks it up and thinks, I need to teach my hand a lesson.
The lesson excuse. I love that. I'm not stealing, I'm just showing her how careless she is.
It is the psychology of collaring. Bennett uses that word specifically. Collaring. Louis convinces himself he is doing a moral act.
That is wild.
He puts the money in his pocket, telling himself he will return it later and say, look what I found, you must be more careful.
Right.
It allows him to take possession of the money without admitting to himself that he is a thief. It bridges the gap between his self-image as a gentleman and his action as a criminal.
It's amazing how we can twist reality to suit our needs. He's holding 1,000 pounds of stolen money, but in his head, he's a responsible nephew teaching a lesson on security.
Precisely. And he might have even returned it if things had gone according to his plan.
But they don't.
No. Things go wrong.
Terribly wrong.
Mrs. Malden falls ill that very night. An attack brought on by the stress of the money and the fear of the burglary. The house is in chaos.
Panic everywhere.
Rachel is running around trying to help. She asks Louis to fetch the doctor.
And in the middle of all this panic, Louis is stuck with the money in his pocket. It's like a hot coal.
And he needs to get rid of it. He can't produce it now without looking guilty.
Right, because of the timing.
Think about it. If he pulls it out while his aunt is dying of stress over that very money, he looks like a monster or a thief.
Oh, by the way, I had it in my pocket the whole time while you were having a heart attack.
Exactly. He can't do it.
So he's trapped by his own lesson.
He is. So he goes into the room where Rachel is lighting a fire. He panics. He wants to destroy the evidence of his lesson because he fears he's about to be caught with it. So while Rachel's back is turned, he drops the roll of notes, or what he thinks is the roll of notes, into the fire.
He burns the money. That seems insane. Just burning a fortune.
It's an act of supreme cowardice disguised as a frantic mistake. He intends to burn it. He sees a white packet drop into the flames.
He just watches it burn.
He believes he has sacrificed the fortune to save his reputation. It shows his priority. Self-preservation above all else.
He would rather destroy wealth than face shame.
Exactly. But there is a twist and ambiguity in that moment. Did he burn all of it? He isn't entirely sure what went into the fire.
The next morning must have been an absolute nightmare.
Absolute nightmare. The money is gone. Mrs. Malden is devastated. And it's not just the financial loss.
It's the violation.
Yes. The money vanished from inside the house. That means someone in the house took it? Her sanctuary has been violated from within?
It's the betrayal that hurts more than the cash.
Exactly. It destroys her sense of safety.
And Batch Crew, the loud trustee, he knows who to blame immediately. He doesn't hesitate.
He points the finger straight at Louis. He knows Louis' past. He knows Louis is slippery. He accuses him directly.
Takes one to know one.
He sees right through the charm because Batch Crew himself is a scoundrel. He recognizes the scent.
But Rachel defends Louis. Why? Does she have any proof he didn't do it?
None at all. She defends him fiercely, but it's emotional, not factual. This is the beginning of her price.
The title of the book.
Yes. She knows nothing of the truth, but she is falling for Louis. She defends him against Batch Crew's accusations because she trusts her feelings, not the facts.
She calls Batch Crew a monster for suspecting such a charming young man.
It is the classic Love is Blind scenario, but with high stakes. She's staking her reputation on his integrity.
And it sets up the central tragedy. Rachel is tying herself to a man who is actively deceiving her, and she is fighting his battles for him.
She is becoming complicit in his lie without even knowing it. She is building her house on sand.
Meanwhile, the romance is blooming right in the middle of this suspicion. It's almost like the danger makes the romance more intense.
It is, and it is blooming in the shadow of Mrs. Malden's decline. Mrs. Malden is dying.
Right.
And here is the thing. She knows. Deep down, she knows Louis is untrustworthy. She might not have proof of the theft, but she feels the character flaw. She has known him since he was a boy.
She gives Rachel a warning, doesn't she? A deathbed warning. Those usually carry some weight in literature.
She does. It's a powerful scene. She tells Rachel, "My nephew is not to be trusted. The woman who married him would suffer horribly."
Wow. That is direct.
It is a chilling moment, a direct prophecy from the dying matriarch. It's not vague. It's a direct instruction.
But Rachel doesn't listen.
No. She interprets it as the delirium of a dying woman, or perhaps an old prejudice.
Because she thinks she knows better.
She thinks, I know him better. I am young. I am in love. I can see his true heart. She thinks she can save him.
It is that common belief. He might be flawed, but my love will fix him.
It's the trap Rachel walks right into.
That is such a dangerous belief.
Yeah.
I can fix him.
We see it all the time.
So Mrs. Malden dies, and the romance accelerates. They go on a date to the cinema. And this scene at the cinema feels important for the setting.
The Imperial Cinema Deluxe. The book spends time describing the setting. It is luxurious, modern, electric.
A stark contrast to the dark, quiet, gaslit house they just left.
It represents the new world Louis wants to live in. It's flashy. It's escapism. It's the movies.
Right.
But even there, they can't escape the past. Batchgrew shows up.
He is like a bad penny, this guy. Just when you think you're escaping into the modern world, the ugly face of the town appears.
Exactly. Batchgrew insults Rachel at the cinema. He is crude. And oddly enough, this actually pushes Rachel closer to Louis.
How so?
She feels she needs protection, and Louis, despite his weakness, is polite and comforting. He plays the role of the knight, even if his armor is hollow.
He plays the part well.
He soothes her, he buys her chocolates, he makes her feel valued, which Batchgrew certainly doesn't.
So they get engaged. Rachel feels a sense of destiny. She loves his grandeur, his refined manners. Coming from a humbler background, Louis represents a step up, a window into a more elegant world.
And they marry quickly? Too quickly, really. They move into Mrs. Malden's house, and immediately Louis starts managing things.
And by managing, you mean spending.
Exactly. He takes over the house and the money or the expectation of inheritance. He starts changing the sanctuary. He buys bad art.
Bad art. That seems like a specific detail for Bennett to include. Why focus on the art?
It is a great detail. He replaces a family heirloom, a watercolor painted by Mrs. Malden's son, with a flashy, mass-produced print called The Garden of the Hesperides.
Oh, wow. That is so symbolic.
It symbolizes his superficial taste, replacing the genuine sentimental value of the old home. He cares about what looks expensive, not what has meaning.
Flesh over substance.
He plans to buy a car. He is spending money he doesn't fully have yet. He's trying to buy the lifestyle he thinks he deserves.
And Rachel starts to notice the shine is wearing off.
She does. The honeymoon phase starts to crack. She notices his irresponsibility with money. She notices his vanity.
The cracks are showing.
She notices that he hates facing reality. If there's a problem, Louis' solution is to ignore it or run away. He avoids difficult conversations. He won't balance the checkbook.
That must be terrifying for her. She's practical. She knows bills have to be paid.
It creates this simmering tension. She's realizing she's married a child, essentially.
And then the twist. Just when they are settling into this uneasy marriage, a letter arrives from Julian, the other nephew, the socialist.
Everyone thought Julian was in South Africa. He was supposed to have gone off to make his way in the world.
Right.
But no, he is in town. Rachel goes to see him, and she finds him living in squalor.
Why? Is he broke?
No, he's doing it to save money. He is living in a sheep room, doing breathing exercises, obsessed with his health, but living very poorly.
What a contrast.
It is a stark contrast to Louis' flashy spending. Julian is punishing himself, almost. He's living in a way that suggests he feels he doesn't deserve comfort.
And he has a confession.
This is the turning point. Julian confesses that on the night of the theft, he also found money.
Wait, hold on. So there were two thieves?
In a way, Julian saw notes on top of a cupboard while he was straightening a picture. He took 450 pounds.
He took it. But he's the honest one. He's the socialist.
Like Louis, he rationalized it. He told himself he was safeguarding it or teaching his aunt a lesson about leaving money around.
That sounds familiar.
He didn't steal it in his mind, he just secured it. It shows that both nephews, despite being opposites, share this flaw of rationalization. They both felt entitled to interfere with the money.
That is fascinating. The ideology doesn't matter. The temptation reveals the character.
Exactly.
But here's the math problem. The total was 965 pounds. Julian took 450.
Exactly. If Julian took 450, there is still 515 pounds missing. Julian confesses to his part, but he assumes the rest is lost or stolen by someone else.
But Rachel does the math.
And the realization hits her like a truck. If Julian only took half, then someone else took the rest.
Oh boy.
And she knows Louis was the only other person there. She realizes that her defense of him, her marriage, her trust, it was all based on a lie. Louis must have taken the rest.
So what does she do? She has caught her husband red-handed, essentially.
Yeah.
Does she scream? Does she leave?
She takes control. This is where Rachel transforms from the naive girl into the matriarch.
Okay.
She takes Louis's money, which she now controls because she's been watching the accounts, and returns the 450 pounds to Julian without telling Louis immediately.
He handles it herself.
She cleans up the mess. She fixes the family honor. She pays Julian back to clear his conscience. And then she confronts Louis.
How does he react? Does he crumble? Does he apologize?
At first, he denies it. He lies. He tries to bluff his way through it, which is his standard operating procedure.
Of course.
But when he is trapped, when the facts are undeniable, he admits he collared it. Again, he refuses to use the word steal. He insists he didn't steal it.
And then he pulls a move that is honestly infuriating. The scullery door lie. We need to unpack this because it is such a dark moment.
This is a masterclass in deflection and what we would today call gaslighting.
Yes.
Back during the investigation, right after the theft, Rachel had told the police the scullery door was open. She did this to give Louis an out, to suggest a burglar could have entered. She lied to protect him.
She compromised her own integrity to save him.
Yes. Now, in this confrontation, Louis turns that around. He tells her, I only kept quiet because you lied about the scullery door. I was trying to protect your story.
That is unbelievable. He blames her for his silence.
It is classic manipulation. He convinces himself that he is the victim of her lie. He twists the narrative so that he is the injured party, the husband who was just trying to support his wife's fabrication. It completely ignores the fact that her lie was to save him. He weaponizes her loyalty against her.
It makes my blood boil just hearing it. It's so slimy.
It is. It shows he is incapable of taking responsibility. Even when caught, he has to find a way to make it someone else's fault.
So he is cornered, he is blaming her, and then he tries to run.
He can't handle the confrontation. He is furious and humiliated. He tries to flee the house. He jumps on a bicycle.
A bicycle he is bad at riding, right?
Yes. It's pathetic and tragic. He crashes. He's brought back injured. It's a physical manifestation of his incompetence. He can't even run away correctly.
But even that doesn't stop him.
No. Later, after he recovers a bit, he tries to sneak out again. He invents a fake appointment to go to Liverpool, intending to sail to America.
He's gonna flee the country.
He is going to abandon his wife and his life just to escape the shame. He's going to run across the ocean rather than say, I'm sorry.
But Rachel catches him.
She finds him. She tracks him down. And this is the key moment. She doesn't beg him to stay. She doesn't plead. She commands.
She takes charge.
She drags him back home. She asserts her dominance. She realizes she is the stronger person.
So they go back to the house.
Yeah.
But it's not a happy homecoming, is it? It's
Yeah.
not a romantic reconciliation with swelling music.
No. The power dynamic has completely shifted. Rachel is no longer just the wife. She is the mother figure. She is the warden.
The warden.
Louis acts the victim. He sulks. He refuses to eat. He nurses his grievance. He feels he has been wronged because he was forced to face his own actions. He's pouting.
And Rachel, what is going through her head?
She sees him clearly now. The illusions are gone. She knows he is a thief. She knows he is a liar. She knows he is weak.
Yeah.
She knows that if things get tough, his instinct is to run. She knows she's married to a coward.
And yes, she stays.
She decides to stay. And this is the aha moment of the book. She realizes that she doesn't want a perfect husband. She wants this husband.
That's powerful.
She accepts his flaws. She realizes she can manage him.
That is the quote-unquote price of love, isn't it?
Exactly. The price is the loss of illusions. She trades the image of the perfect knight she fell in love with for the reality of a flawed man she has to look after.
It is a very mature, very cynical, but also very realistic view of love.
There is a quote or a sentiment that really sums this up. She realizes she is his wife, and that bond is stronger than his crimes.
It is the triumph of the institution of marriage over the romantic ideal of marriage.
She accepts her role. She accepts that she will be the strong one, the one who cleans up the messes, the one who forgives. She accepts that she will be the adult in the room for the rest of their lives.
So what does this all mean? Let's zoom out a bit. One of the big themes here is money as a character revealer.
Oh, absolutely. That 965 pounds is like a spotlight. It strips away the masks.
It does.
It showed Batchgrew's carelessness. He didn't care about the safety of the money or Mrs. Malden. It showed Mrs. Malden's fragility. The responsibility literally killed her. It showed Julian's hypocrisy. The socialist who claims to hate money but collars it when he gets the chance. And it showed Louis's fundamental dishonesty and weakness.
It is interesting that nobody comes out of it looking perfect. Even Rachel has to compromise her integrity to cover it up. She lies to the police. She pays off Julian secretly.
That is the nature of the price. No one is immune. Money forces everyone to show who they really are when the pressure is on. It corrupts, or at least it reveals the corruption that was already there.
And then there is the nature of truth. Louis seemed to live in his own reality.
He creates his own truth. This is a very practical lesson for us as readers. Louis never admits to theft. He believes his own excuses. He believes he is the victim.
We all know people like this.
People who rewrite history in their heads to protect their ego. Bennett is showing us that this isn't just a quirk. It's a survival mechanism for weak people. If they admitted the truth, they would collapse.
And for Rachel, the lesson is about acceptance.
Radical acceptance. Her happiness, if we can call it that, doesn't come from changing Louis. She tries to change him, but she fails. Her peace comes from accepting the reality of who he is and finding a way to live with it. She stops fighting reality.
It is a challenge to you, really, as the listener. Think about the price paid in your own relationships.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily financial. It's the compromise of ideals.
Yeah.
We all have a picture of what our partner should be. And usually we have to trade that picture for the reality of who they are.
And the question is the connection worth the price? For Rachel, the answer is yes, but it's a heavy yes. It's a yes with a sigh behind it.
That brings us to our final provocative thought for this episode. Is Rachel's ending happy or tragic?
That is the big question. On one hand, she's secure, she has the money, she has the house, she has the upper hand in the marriage, she loves him in her way.
But on the other hand,
she is married to a man she cannot trust. She will spend the rest of her life checking the accounts, watching the door, wondering if he is lying. She will never be able to fully relax.
she is the warden of her own heart.
Exactly. Is that happiness? Or is it a comfortable tragedy? Bennett leaves that for us to decide. He doesn't give us a neat bow. He leaves us with the ambiguity of real life.
It is a story that stays with you. It makes you look at your own compromises a little differently. It makes you wonder what you would do if you found that money on the landing.
It certainly does. It strips away the romance and shows you the machinery underneath.
Well, we want to hear what you think. Is Rachel right to stay? Is Louis redeemable? Engage with us on social media. We would love to discuss Arnold Bennett's legacy and this fascinating setting of the Five Towns.
And please go purchase a copy of this book, The Price of Love by Arnold Bennett. We have covered the main points in this podcast, but the richness of the dialogue, the descriptions of the house, the subtle psychological digs, you have to read it to really get it.
You really do.
The way Bennett describes a curtain or a teacup adds so much texture that we just can't convey here.
Absolutely. Let the book's ideas regarding acceptance and human nature enhance your own life. It is a masterclass in understanding people.
And if you enjoyed this discussion, please follow, subscribe, and share the Plain Books podcast.
Thank you for spending this time with us and this incredible story. Until next time.